My next guest is Professor Frank Madrimonti of the University of Mid-California. First, your name, Madrimonti. That means mountain mother, doesn't it? And your name's had quite an impact on your work, hasn't it?
Well, I had an excellent mother. There she is. I decided the best way to honor her memory would be to help all the other mothers to get their children film parts.
And when you became director of the Children and Media Center at the University of Mid-California, you launched the One Film Part project.
Off-pick, one film part for every child.
So what gave you that idea?
I realized that too many acting roles were going to privileged kids rather than being shared around.
And you realized that the one thing mothers will pay out money for is to see their children in film and TV parts.
Well, let me stress first that no mother has to pay a cent to get her child on our books. A small donation may help to get the casting agents to take notice, but
How much?
$10 is nothing.
And how many children are there in, for example, the USA?
76 million.
And you don't stop at the USA, do you?
No, we've got good contacts in Bollywood.
How many children in India?
440 million. And new ones being born every minute. And they can all act, you know, so the possibilities are limitless.
Well, that's been a criticism of the One Film Part project, that it's not true that all children can act. Some aren't good looking enough or can't memorize lines.
Well, that's partly true, I suppose, but for those kids we have what we call the Little Stars in the Night program, where we cast them in crowd scenes and low lighting.
But even if every child could be cast in a part, how easy would it be for them to get another part?
Sustainability is an issue we're working on.
So, when a child fails to land a second part, it can leave him feeling like a failure for life.
So it's up to the family to handle that. It's not our responsibility.
Well, let's take a look at the case of little Pedro.
Ah, Pedro. He was one of our first success stories.
But his story didn't end so well, did it? Through the One Film Part project, Pedro got a walk-on role in a Brazilian TV sitcom, earning just $100 for a year's work.
There's a lot of money for a Brazilian family.
But his father disappeared with the money, and then Pedro was thrown out of the village because they said he'd become big-headed and hadn't even brought them in any money. Where's Pedro now?
We've got a team out looking for him.
Let's look back at your predictions about the number of children who would land film parts.
Our predictions have stood the test of time.
When the One Film Part project began, you said that all the world's children would get film and TV roles. Now, you've since reduced that promise to just all the world's poor children.
But they're the ones who need the most help.
And 7 years after the project began, you claim that you've cast 2 million children in film and TV parts worldwide. Can you verify that? But there are 100 million poor children in the world. How do you justify these empty promises?
It's not our fault if empty promises don't come true.
Ah, so you are admitting that your promises are empty.
Well, that's not what I said.
And that they've been what you yourself have called conscious rhetoric.
I had to do that to convince the casting agents to help us.
What do you say to the government's decision to introduce legislation preventing projects from raising people's hopes with empty promises? Well, do you have a message for all the mothers who've trusted you and who still believe their kids will become film stars?
It's up to them and the children to work hard and to have the ambition, and with our help, their dreams will come true.
Professor Madrimonti, thank you.
Thank you. It's important to get the word out. The more we talk about it, the more people will believe it.